Along here, the styloid process. Literally any of the mandibular attachments along the inferior aspect will be addressing the hyoids. 3 primary areas directly behind and underneath that ear and angle of the jaw. Around to where digastric is, at the very, very front, underneath the mental tubercles. And then if you wanted, you could work on omohyoid. Not a huge mylohyoid, which is the big one under the tongue. That is mylo, right? Yeah, so mylohyoid, the big band one that goes underneath the jaw. The bullfrog muscle is what I like to call it because it's the one that pops downwards. That one, and then if you were to get into basically the attachments of the upper back and shoulder, if you were to just treat as though you were targeting the upper back and shoulders, you will hit them. So the only specific areas is that pressure release in this area here, and definitely digastric in here. Those are the 2 big ones.
And then you get them to stick out the tongue.
Yeah, you can get them to do that. You can get them to push their tongue down. Even honestly, clenching the jaw, you will feel it. One thing that you can do to assess an individual's hyoids, actually, you can try this on yourself. So Byron, for this brief assessment, I'm just going to place my hand across the front of your throat very gently to move your trachea or your esophagus. It can be a little bit uncomfortable just because I am on the front aspect of your neck, so please let me know if you get uncomfortable at any time, but it is to demonstrate this type of assessment to students. Is it okay with you if I go ahead and continue with that? Okay, so all you're going to have to do is literally with your own hand, not the actual throat, but actually tucked underneath the jaw, almost like you're trying to envelop that bullfrog muscle that I was talking about. Relax everything and just try and bounce it from side to side, and you should notice that it goes more one way than it does the other. So we go through here and just a nice gentle, just to feel the tissues, and his goes way further in this direction because these structures are elongated. When I try and go in the other direction, it's stuck. So that's telling me that the hyoids on this side here need to be addressed. Can you guys kind of feel that lack of mobility and the over mobility on one side? Then you know which side is overstretched and which side is approximated in your own anterior neck structures. Isn't that cool? So even if you don't know where the exact attachment points are, okay, this entire line of structures on this side needs to be challenged. So guess what? I'm gonna go ahead and challenge nice and gently, not closed hand around the front of the throat. I'm just gonna challenge. You can challenge like this, you can challenge like that, just to feel the structures. This one's moving super easily. So I'm just gonna take the lateral aspect and challenge that fascial line. And you can actually see how it's actually going right up into that angle of the jaw there. Nice big breath in and out. Thumbs up tolerable for you, Byron? Cool. Good, let it go, let it drift up, let it drift up, let it drift up, let it drift up, nice and gentle. Go ahead, try and turn back towards me gently. Hold. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go. Thumbs up. Am I choking you or are we okay? Thumbs up and choking, but that's okay. Good, nice breath in and out. I know I'm kind of stressing my thumb a little bit, so don't do what my thumb's doing, okay? Let go, let go, let go. Excellent. Good. You okay? Good. And just like that, way more motility happening in those tissues there. Okay, don't be surprised by that little crunchy bit. That's just your hyoid. Any other questions?
You mentioned something about the greater cornu earlier.
Oh yeah, of the hyoid. So because you can actually feel, some of you who have the side that's over mobile, so you're like, oh, it stretches really easily, versus the side that isn't, you will notice the side that is stuck, you might notice that your hyoid has a torsion towards your restricted side. And that's exactly what was happening to me, is I had a torsion and actually felt the greater cornu of my hyoid bone actually digging into the back of my throat. So when I swallowed, it was really uncomfortable because it was like literally scraping. You know when you have a sore throat and you swallow, that's literally what it felt like, but it was off center. And when I treated my hyoids, it went to the other side. So I knew it wasn't that I was getting sick, it was literally my hyoid was scraping the back of my throat, and it was annoying. All right, questions before we partner up?
What did you say about the crunchy thing?
The what?
Crunchy.
Oh, just sometimes when you move the trachea, that's just your coracoid rings just going crunch, 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 because it's cartilage, right? So don't be concerned. Don't try and provoke it, but it's nothing for you to be concerned about if you hear the crunchiness. That just means that you're challenging your coracoid rings, which we don't necessarily want to do that, but it's not anything for you to be like, oh my God, my throat's crunchy. It's fine. Okay. So there's a couple things that we'd like to practice with the rest of our time today. You'll notice that we didn't have to necessarily get